Good evening and thank you for joining us for KREM 2 News at 6. I'm Mark Hanrahan.
It's good to have you here. I'm Whitney Ward. Nearly 28 years behind bars. That is how long a suspect in the murder of 19-year-old Jason Fox will spend in prison.
Last month, the Pend Oreille County jury found Claude Merritt guilty of kidnapping, beating and murdering the Newport teen in 2020. KREM 2's Amanda Rowley was in the courtroom this morning for Merritt's sentencing. She shares how the victim's family reacted.
The family of Jason Fox wanted the judge to give Claude Merritt the maximum sentence for his kidnapping and murder charges. The judge did just that, and he came to that decision after hearing no remorse in Merritt's statement this morning. The Fox family will never forget the 19 years of memories they shared with Jason Fox.
So this is Jason and that was me, and we're in front of the Roxy Theater in town.
And to be sure he's never forgotten, his brother Robert Fox had his favorite memory with him tattooed. He shared this sentiment in court this morning.
This is our all-time favorite picture. We were going to take it again when we both graduated. I got that after he died as a constant reminder on my left hand because he was left-handed.
But the brothers would never take that photo. In October 2020, law enforcement found Jason's body buried in a shallow grave with his hands tied behind his back. Claude Merritt was found guilty of his involvement in this crime. During his sentencing, Jason's family told the judge they still carry heavy hearts.
I would hope the court would give the maximum sentence because what he took from us and from the world it's not replaceable.
Jason's stepmom, Susan Fox, says they weren't even allowed to see him one last time at the morgue due to the state of his body.
The only solace I have in this is knowing that the last words out of my mouth to Jason were, "I love you." And I am so thankful that I said that.
Merritt spoke for the first time in court today, insisting Jason was his friend and he is innocent.
I tried to stop it. But then to have a rifle put in my face and say, if you don't sit down and shut the hell up, you'll be right next to him. How do you think that makes me feel, Your Honor?
The judge said Merritt's lack of remorse convinced him the maximum sentence was appropriate.
I looked for some kind of spark, for lack of a better term, of humanity or decency, that you would recognize the people that bared their soul for you this morning. And I don't see it. All I have is anger.
Now, this isn't over for the Fox family just yet. The final suspect believed to be involved in the murder of Jason Fox is set to stand trial in May. Reporting in Newport, Amanda Rowley, KREM 2 News.
Now for an update to our week-long KREM 2 investigation into the Spokane Shock. Today, the indoor football team held tryouts for this season's roster. We were allowed inside for those tryouts in Spokane Valley this morning. Anyone in the community was invited to show off their skills in hopes of making the team, and team officials told us they are excited to get the season started. The first game is scheduled for March 18th. However, right now, Shock tickets cannot be purchased on the arena's website. They are available, however, on the Shock website. Yesterday, they were not. All week long, though, we have been bringing you updates after our investigation revealed a series of financial problems between the Shock and the Public Facilities District, which manages the arena. On Monday, the team still hadn't signed the contract to play at the arena, even though the season starts in just 3.5 weeks. After our story aired, team owner Sam Adams did sign that contract on Tuesday, but still has yet to provide a $128,000 security bond to the PFD to cover rent costs for the upcoming season. On Tuesday, the district sent Adams a default letter giving him 5 business days to come into compliance. And if that security collateral is not received by this coming Wednesday, the 23rd, I'm told the Shock contract at the arena could be terminated. To view our entire Spokane Shock investigation, including interviews with past season ticket holders who say they're still owed money from the 2020 season, which had to be canceled because of COVID, just text the word SHOCK to 509-448-2000 and we'll send that link right to your phone.
The Washington State Supreme Court unanimously confirmed animal abuse can constitute domestic violence. That decision was put down yesterday, and it allows for more protections for victims and harsher punishments for perpetrators. The ruling allows courts to issue a post-conviction no-contact order between the perpetrator and the victim. The court issued its ruling in the case of a Seattle woman whose boyfriend savagely beat her dog to death back in 2018. He was sentenced to 18 months in prison, 12 for animal abuse, and an extra 6 because of traumatizing factors.
Another Eastern Washington school district making masks optional before the mask mandate officially ends on March 21st. Colville School District now removing its mask mandate starting this Tuesday. Colville is the third Eastern Washington district now to defy the state's mandate, following Kettle Falls and Richland.
Idaho Governor Brad Little made an appeal to Washington Governor Jay Inslee today. Little sent a letter urging Washington not to tax fuel shipped to Idaho. Little says that tax will cause higher gas prices in the state at a time when inflation is already high. Washington is planning to use that tax revenue to fund transportation improvements over the next 16 years.
Just yesterday, Washington Governor Jay Inslee announced that he is ending that indoor mask mandate, as we said, on March 21st, which does include schools. He also announced the vaccine verification will end on March 1st. Today, though, the governor was visiting Spokane for a completely different reason. The governor toured a variety of areas, talking about a variety of topics,
including the Move Ahead Washington package, climate priorities, and affordable housing. KREM 2's Ian Smay has been with the governor all day today. And Ian, where'd the governor just wrap up?
Mark, Whitney, I am here in Airway Heights where Governor Inslee ended his trip today. And during the trip, he talked about three main themes: climate change, electric buses, and affordable housing. And that trip started at Gonzaga University this afternoon. While there, he spoke with about 50 students about climate change, calling it the biggest threat currently facing Washington. He also named one of the students Washingtonian of the Day. After that, he went to the Spokane Transit Authority to view their line of electric buses. He gave high praise to the STA for those buses, and the governor also took questions while he was there. When asked about affordable housing, Inslee said it needs to happen fast.
We need to get people into housing in months, not years. And number two, we have to provide supportive wraparound services around people, because a lot of these folks have mental health challenges and chemical challenges that need to be addressed if they're going to be successfully kept out of homelessness.
After that, Inslee came out to Airway Heights. While here, he toured a home built by Habitat for Humanity in this developing neighborhood. The neighborhood has houses and apartments meant to provide more affordable housing for the area. Inslee said he also has high hopes for the legislature this year when it comes to passing things to deal with affordable housing and homelessness. Reporting in Airway Heights, Ian Smay, KREM 2 News.
All right, Ian, thank you very much. Let's talk weather now. It's felt more like spring this week than anything else, but we're about to see some pretty big changes in the forecast.
Well, yeah, meteorologist Tom Sherry is joining us now, and I know that you're not expecting tons of snow here, but the mountains, I know the passes, Snoqualmie Pass, could get a ton of snow, so people need to be aware of that, right, Tom?
Yeah, traveling to the west side of the state is going to be very dangerous starting tomorrow afternoon and continuing through Sunday. There's lots of snow expected to fall in the Cascades. Here locally, we'll get very little snow down at the lower elevations, but we're going to see snow falling up in the mountains, which is great for area ski resorts. 45 degrees right now, wind out of the south-southeast at 5 miles per hour. Doppler radar showing increasing clouds for the weekend. Look for rain to develop, especially in North Idaho and extreme eastern Washington by tomorrow afternoon and tomorrow night. Look for a high of 44, and then we could see snow less than an inch, I think, in Spokane and central Washington. I don't think this is an issue for you at all, but mostly in North Idaho and northeastern Washington, more snow falling, and especially up at the higher elevations. We'll look for a daytime high of 43. I'm tracking in our 10-day forecast much colder air. Modified Arctic air is on the way, and so is your forecast.
All right, Tom, thank you very much. Well, we obviously know how great Spokane is, and it seems like the secret is out. Some of the biggest events and names in music are heading our way. How they chose Spokane, coming up next.
Also, a little later, armed forces from around the world coming to Spokane, too. Why they're here in the name of sports and how you can watch.